is definitely there. It's a new morning in America. Fresh, vital. The old cynicism is gone. We have faith in our leaders. We're optimistic as to what becomes of it all. It really boils down to our ability to accept. We don't need pessimism.
I've got one that can see.
Got one that could see. Yo, guys.
All these messages are...
It's Crazy Jerry and Frequency 528. Their music. That's a meltage. You know, I agree with some of the meltage. I don't think it's all been one big event. I think there's been all kinds of weird resets. So I can do some of it, but I can't do 100% of it. There's evidence of all kinds of weird shit going on in this place, and everybody's walking around with pink sunglasses on thinking everything's all good. I was saying earlier today that I have well over 2,000, probably 2,500 protest videos coming up on 3 years now, with 8 trips to Montreal, 6 trips to Ottawa, all over southern Ontario, from Windsor, where I'd go out and visit Tony Pancharesco and Bernadette Green, my chemtrail activist buddies, and also catch up on their freedom rallies and stuff like that. And all the way across southern Ontario, Woodstock, Stratford, Kitchener-Waterloo, you name it, Barrie, everywhere, Hamilton, all the way across southern Ontario, Belleville, Cornwall. I mean, I've been all over the place, man. Barrie, trying to film this and trying to be a participant in fighting for our freedom, but I guess after all these videos and stuff like that, I've tried several times to speak. Sorry about the siren in the background. I live downtown Toronto, so it's kind of goes with the territory. And it's not like I pursued it like an ego thing. It's like, you know, I said, like, I'll speak if you want. Because I see them kind of desperate, looking for somebody to get up on this, somebody with some knowledge. But they never put me on the deck. And that's when I realized this is all controlled. 95% of it's controlled. You know, hang on a second here. That's an ambulance going down to Toronto Western Hospital. I have an ear for value. I'm pretty much 60% deaf in my left ear, and I got real selective hearing in my right ear. You can ask my ex-wives about that. Anyway, what I'm getting at is I could tell this thing was kind of like playing out some sort of a bigger plan, because after my trips to Montreal and trips to Ottawa and all these videos and participating at Queen's Park since day one, which a lot of these people that are down there saying they were there on day one, I don't recall seeing them there on day one, which is another, makes me start thinking. Anyway, yeah, see, I did a lot in my life. I ran the Halifax Regional Furniture Bank Society for about 20 years. That was my primary baby. And then at the same time, I basically earned an income via Tommy Rogers Moving and Trucking, which did a lot of the trucking jobs for the Department of Community Services in the Halifax area. Halifax, Sackville, Dartmouth, Bedford, all those areas. I was busy all day and all night most of the time. And then the furniture bank on top of it. And that was like a daily thing. Helping out the needy, all the women's shelters, Barney House, Addison House, Barrie House, the Marguerite Center for Women's Addictions. That was my whole life, was working with basically abused people. You know, and it's not, I mean, I was also taking care of the average Joe. I was taking care of the Turning Point for Men and everything like that. So it was like, it was cool. It's like, I thought they were going to give me the key to the city at one point. I mean, I was rock and roll. I had the old Halifax Infirmary from our warehouse. The whole damn building, the whole complex was mine for about 5 years. And that was free of charge because of all the work I did in the community. On the 9/11 incident, my little furniture shop, furniture bank gig provided 1,870 double hotel mattresses to the stranded passengers that couldn't go home. 8,000 people went to Gander, Newfoundland, and 8,000 people estimated went to Halifax. Gander and Halifax airports were just parking lots of airplanes, and nobody could go anywhere. That went on for over a month, and all my gear got all completely ruined. But anyway, it's not the point. Then I also I did a lot of good things in my day. I spoke at high schools. I think I spoke at 11 high schools in 2 years, 600 to 800 kids at a time. I also spoke at medical clinics. I spoke at Liberty Village, family medicine there, twice. I spoke for Deb Mathers when she was the Minister of Health for Ontario. I spoke at George Brown College. I spoke at U of T. I spoke at Humber College did a paper on me, or did a kind of a documentary kind of weird thing, because they were coming over and checking me out about, I guess it was 5 years ago, because I was pushing the flat Earth, and they were doing a project on weird alternative views, I guess. Anyway, I had 4 or 5 students come here, and a couple times a week, and they were filming me and my dog and going for walks, and I was just basically giving them a talk about what's going on, and I told them about my life and all this kind of shit. And then, you know, I can go on and on about all the esoteric stuff that I've been studying for years and years and years and years and years. See, my mother was basically politely murdered when I was 10 years old, care of chemo. The early days chemo, when they were handing that stuff out. And that cooked her in 6 months in 1972. The last 3 months in 1972 into the first 3 months of 73, my mother was dead. And that's when I sort of said, this ain't right, man. Nothing here ain't right. So I spent 5 years in high school and basically got 1 credit, and then sold drugs and everything. Basically, my older brother was 7 years older than me, so basically my crowd that I was spending most of my time with was, instead of hanging around with 10-year-olds and 12-year-olds, I was hanging around with people under 18 and 19 kind of thing, and not hanging around like full time, but I mean, like, you know, I made my moves and stuff, and I was always on top of the game because I was always being influenced by the older crowd, and those guys were all selling drugs like there was no tomorrow. I mean, refrigerator boxes full of weed. We were getting 50 pounds of weed oil delivered to us, kind of thing, so we weren't small fries. But it was all good. I spent the better part of 5 years in high school until I got kicked out, and I got 1 credit, machine shop, Bill Brown. I was always good with my hands, always good with working with building things and carpentry, and I'm good that way, right? But when it comes to this, sitting in a classroom all day, listening to some asshole tell me how to listen to whatever, I ain't big on that. I went to my homeroom, and that was about it, and then I basically hung around all day. I lived right next door to the high school, so it was like no problem. I mean, when my mother died, my father sold our house, and we got a condo in the downtown Toronto area, by Etobicoke. Rob and Doug Ford's neighborhood, because they were in the same sort of high school networks when I was a kid. Anyway, that's where I was growing up, man, and so I don't buy into this shit, right? None of it, right? And I know the Nazis did not lose World War II. And I said that 40 years ago. And 30 years ago I was saying that those guys are painting my skies. And I was always the crazy guy. But back to speaking at Queen's Park and all these rallies and stuff like that. I'd never done one speech, and that's why I know it's all rigged. Every fucking one of them, right? I take down 80 flags, and I said, this is not the first time. Because I took down 80 flags several times. Each time I walked out of there like I got kicked in the balls, right? You go down there, you get up at 6 o'clock in the morning, you get all your gear down to Queen's Park by 8:30 in the morning. I usually take it down on the subway too. And then you set it all up, and then only to have like Maxime Bernier speak and all these grifters that coined in on the Ottawa gig. And then at the end of it all, the leaderless movement, sorry man, the leaderless movement, the event planner says to me, why would I promote you, Tommy? Right? So you know why I'm in the Queen's Park? Because it's a control gig. And those retards that are going down there and there are totally ruined. A friend of mine came up to me on Saturday and said, that leader of the Leaderless Project single-handedly ruined Queen's Park. That's why there was only 25 people at Queen's Park last weekend. Somebody said there might have been 30. Right? It's a joke. And I think I'm going to sit around and drag all this bullshit down there for these people? You got to get out of your mind. Anyway, you can thank your leaderless movement for me not going down there, because it's bullshit, right? People don't even know what the hell's going on here, right? You better get with the program, right? What's going on right now is a lot bigger than anybody could even imagine. They have no idea what's coming in the wind. But I'll tell you right now, your votes and your elections and all your fucking politicians and all this goddamn, all those groups, every fucking single one of them is nothing but bullshit, retarded fucking morons, okay? Honestly. If you don't fucking see what's going on, you're missing the fucking, the whole point here, right? I've been trying to share a message for 3 fucking years, and I haven't even been given a stand once. Really? And you don't think that's controlled? You better get with the program, guys. God bless you. I hope everything's going good with you, because this is going to get worse. And you think it's going to get better? You know what? I'm in my 6th year without a cell phone. Maybe if you got rid of your fucking cell phones and started being actually part of mankind, you might be able to get around this thing. Until then, we're fucked. So, see you soon, guys. God bless you, and I hope everything's good. God love you.